Yo, what up? What up? What up? Oh my goodness. I just checked AccuWeather for Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be a high of 81 degrees today. I didn't look at the weather before this moment, but I knew it was going to be warmer than yesterday. But good morning to you. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I am Brian K. McNeill, half of the Empowerment Duo. The other half, the lovely Miss Lisa Santiago McNeill will be with us in just a moment. But we do have a topic today. Where I put my glasses? I am of an age where if I don't got my glasses on, I can't read it. Period. I just can't. Okay. But did you hear that laughter in the background? That's the lovely Miss Lisa Santiago McNeill making her way. I know we want to put this stuff. Making her way downtown, walking fast, something like that.
Your place in history. Good morning, good morning,
Your
good morning.
place in history. Love this topic, don't you? We're going to talk today about your place in history because I'm going to promise you something. You have a place.
Absolutely, and we're grateful that you're in our history. Talk about it in just a moment right after this message.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like.
Tiger Woods Jr.
Okay, got it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Your place in history. As I was considering this particular topic, you know what? Just your own breakfast bar is making my teeth hurt right now.
And it might be psychological.
Maybe, but that's really crazy.
Because you're not eating anything.
I'm not eating anything intentionally because my teeth were hurting so bad yesterday. Not that I have a toothache. It's not a toothache. It's different than that. But anyway.
Is it airborne?
It feels like the air, yeah. So
can you smell my food?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Your place in history, as we were considering this, it actually began to help to bring me sort of waxing reminiscent as I thought about all the individuals that had created a historical place in my life. Okay. So those could be your mentors, they could be your real mentors, meaning like teachers or coaches or somebody that you actually came to learn from and know and love. But your place in history, or at least my place in history, is often also determined, good morning, Shirley, good morning, Miss Phyllis, by people that I've never met. That they have a place in my history. Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, Maya Angelou, Oprah Winfrey, they have a place in the history of my evolution because they've impacted it in some way. And I think that whether or not you are a famous person or you have had an impact in someone's life directly, you can still carry that position.
You know, I got to tell you, when Lisa gave me this topic last night, it hit her. You know, this thought hit her. And it took, when I've had since last night to this morning to think about this. I remember this moment in my life was a very prodigious moment. I used to be the president of the hospitality committee, welcome the visitors to the church and read the announcements. And if I wasn't able to read it, I would assign different people to read the announcements. And I was a part of a very dynamic church called Baptist Grove Church out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. The church was founded like right after slavery in a grove. They didn't even have a building. It was in a grove out in the field. That's where the church was held, and that's why they got the name Baptist Grove. But it was during Black History Month, and I was reading the church history, and it was a long history from every pastor, from going from the grove to the first small building, to the next small building, to the next small building, and every pastor's name and every, prodigious person that they had records of. And I'm reading this out loud to the church's history. And there was a lot of history, over 100 years at that time for the church. But I gave one of the best talks I'd given up to that point in my life, because as I was reading the church history, this thought came to my mind. Every single person in this building is creating their own history.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Absolutely.
What you're doing today will be history at some point. What you do for your family is history at some point too. We all are creating our own history every single day. And when Lisa started off today talking about the people that helped create her, they're a part of her history too. They're a part of your story. So today we're going to go down the lane.
History.
His story. Now normally history is told by the winner. Okay. Whoever wins the war tells the story from that perspective. We were the heroes, they were the villains. It's told by the winners. Okay?
And I believe that to be true. And that's why I'm a publisher, because I believe that each individual has the responsibility to tell their story from their perspective. And helping them to come to realize that you are not the protagonist in your story. You are the victor. You are the hero or the heroine. And it will take sometimes it takes some wisdom, it takes some nurture, it takes some understanding, it takes some navigation to see that you are the heroine or hero in your story. But the truth remains that there would be no story without you. Brian.
Yeah. I'm switching to so I can see my my history. No, there would be no story without you. Telling your story in such a way that your grandkids can appreciate you today. Each generation advances the generation before that. You know, that's what we're trying to do. And we do. We're advancing the next generation. Did you know today's going to be up to 81 degrees in this city?
I do. I heard. Today is also a special day. Today is my niece China's birthday.
Niece China's birthday. How old is she now?
I have a niece that was born on 4/4. I have a niece that was born on 7/7. And I am excited. My younger niece is born on 4/4.
Shout out to University of Connecticut.
And I think she's 27.
Shout out for University of Connecticut. They won the national championship last night at men's college basketball. Interesting thing I saw this morning. We talked yesterday briefly about Angel Reese, who the young lady who did the John Cena thing and pointing to the ring to let her opponent know we're about to win the championship. How this kind of polarized the country a little bit. It was on CNN. They was talking about it. Well, this morning, knowing that University of Connecticut won, one of the guys that hit a key jump shot last night happens to be the cousin of Angel Reese of LSU. Okay, happens to be her cousin. And I saw in the celebration for Louisiana State, the championship game was in Houston, Texas. Okay, so they flew back to Louisiana where the school was, and they had their celebration on campus. Big celebration. Everybody from the city showed up and all that kind of stuff. Big celebration. And she walks on the stage doing this and this like this. It's now become part of her branding.
Oh, Angel?
Yes. She walks on the stage, and the people that have had her back since Sunday, it's like the ground shifted. First people were talking about, oh, what a thug. And now how brave and courageous for her to stand in her truth. It's completely shifted in about a day's time. And she's going to probably end up making commercials like this, because it's part of her branding.
That's right, Shirley. You do help people tell their stories through pictures and videos from generation to generation.
You're an ideal person to be on here.
It's another historian. You are a historian.
You're ideal for this conversation, Shirley. You help families and organizations, if they choose, to tell their story, their history, to keep the records. Shirley, if you don't know, that's what she does. She helps people to store their memories digitally. Not only store, but actually use and be able to find digitally. She does that through an organization that she represents. But Shirley Desjardins at Wyatt can help you if that's something that interests you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that all nonprofits should have a historian.
I think all
To
churches should have one too.
absolutely, all churches should have a historian, someone responsible exclusively for the maintenance and housekeeping of the history of the church.
Your history. What's the name of the topic again? Say it again, please.
Your place in history.
Your place in
It's
history.
right
Okay, good.
Can you read?
Yeah, I can read.
I mean, can you see it?
I can see it.
Okay.
I can read.
I know you.
Speaking of reading, you remember some of you guys are of an age.
James Wyatt. Hey, good morning.
If you need web designing and digital marketing, don't call me. Call Ernest Usher. How about that, Ernest? But anyway, some of us guys are going to be of an age to remember this expression. You got to go to school to get your 3 R's. The 3 R's is what you're supposed to get in school.
Reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Okay, the problem with the 3 R's is she's right. It's reading, writing, and arithmetic. Okay, the problem with the 3 R's is 2 of the 3 words are misspelled. Reading, that starts with an R.
That's right.
But writing
starts with a W.
And arithmetic.
That messed up the alliteration. You had to do it mnemonic.
Reading, the 3 R's, the reading, writing, arithmetic, that's jacked up. Reading, writing, arithmetic is jacked up. That's right. Arithmetic never started with an R, but they said you had to go to school and learn your 3 R's. They ain't talking about racial ruddies, right? Like social studies. They do it that way.
Reading, writing, arithmetic rolls off your tongue better. It's great for alliteration, not so much for spelling and vocabulary.
How about ristory? They ain't talking about ristory. You know, if you would just throw R's, why not 4 R's? Why not 5 R's? Reading,
writing, and arithmetic are the 3 essentials.
It's a horrible expression. From the first time anybody ever used it, 2 of the 3 words are jacked up. It should have been never allowed.
I get it.
But because it was rhythmic, because it was
alliteration. Alliteration is a powerful usage, particularly in mnemonics. It is particularly powerful.
Mnemonics. We're talking today about your place in history. Now, some people think their place in history is only reserved for people who do great things. President of something, build something from the ground up, you know, save communities from ruin or something like that. That's part of history too. But you have a history too, maybe not as big as that.
Ernest said, but you ain't tell your mama because that would have had another R roughed up.
Exactly.
You better leave it alone. Reading, writing, arithmetic.
No, I don't want to leave it alone. I want to bash it into the ground. That's what I want to do with it. Okay, I want to bash it into the ground. That's terrible. I don't want anybody to do that anymore. No more of that stuff, ever.
The 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic. I have learned to embrace some things that were not necessarily right, but they were in spirit right. Because I realized that my grandparents who raised me were actually my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents. They were coming in behind a curveball.
Yeah. So
they had some wisdom, and it may not have had spit and polish on it. And they knew that these things were going to be essential to my furtherance of my life. So she wanted me to learn how to read. We used to read the Bible as a part of bedtime. You know, the children would read the scripture. My grandmother did not. She did know how to read, but she had a 3rd grade education, my great-great-grandmother. And we would have regular math, not the fancy new math or anything else. We had regular math. And writing was important. Penmanship was very, very important. Even with the 3rd grade education, my grandmother had a beautiful penmanship.
You know, speaking of regular math, yesterday was the 100th birthday of that lady that did the calculations for the moon landing in 1969 for the United States by hand. They had computers for this too, but her math by hand was better than the computers I can't remember.
By a certain number of decimal points, she was actually more accurate.
Yes, the movie Hidden Figures.
Mm-hmm.
The movie Hidden Figures. The woman, the math girl, that woman, she turned 100 yesterday. I can't remember her name, but maybe one of you guys will know her name. But if you've seen the movie Hidden Figures, that mathematician, that one lady, there was 3 brilliant women that helped get that thing off the ground. Okay, but there's one particular one, the astronaut. The astronaut didn't even want to go back up into the sky without checking with the math chick. You know,
makes sense.
What did she say? She was able to calculate the arc.
Katherine Johnson.
Thank you, Ernest.
Thank you.
Man, I appreciate that, Ernest. Thank you very much. She was able to calculate mathematically the arc that the ship would have to take in order to successfully land on the moon. How amazing
That's who
is
you
that?
want on your side.
How amazing is that?
That is who you want on your side. That is how you secure your place in history. Caring about people is how you secure your place in history. Directing people properly and teaching things also helps you to secure your place in history. Like I said, I learned a lot. Historically, my first wisdoms were from my great-great-grandmother. And I learned from her so many things that may have been overlooked or not taught because they didn't have the same value, but I have found them to be invaluable.
And the older you get, the more wise you become, the more you realize some of those things that those old folks used to say.
Bird almost flew into the window.
I saw that just now. A bigger bird too, just came real close. A big
old bird.
Came real close to flying it out. Crashing into the glass. I saw that. And you could not see it sitting in this chair right here. Yes, your place in history, Ernest. If you sire a child.
Okay. Sire?
Yes.
That's what so many men are doing. They're simply siring children.
Yes.
That's right, Shirley. Katherine Johnson is the math lady in Hidden Figures.
Exactly.
Amen.
Good morning, Sister Judy Floyd. We're talking about
Judah.
Your place in history. You and John have a place in history.
Absolutely.
Y'all created something that wasn't there, and now it is there. The Next Level Band. You created something in history. You know what? A lot of history. This is Lisa's thing too. Every time she helps an author to publish something, they occupy a place in history. Their book.
Yeah, but a lot of times their history because of their age or their situation or scenario, it may often only abide in their book because a lot of the people that were involved in the creating of it no longer exist on this side. Yeah. They have crossed over.
Right, but they're written down. They're
now they're immortalized in history in a book. Absolutely.
You know, some of them, I created something that wasn't there and now it is. For example, these sales trainings I give when people buy different trainings packages from me, these sales trainings I give, I have put together a collection of them into a package, into a product, a collection of them, 7 of the best trainings, the kind of things that I would give somebody that I wasn't going to be able to contact them anymore. They could do it at their own pace, 7 recorded sessions into one package, one product. This thing is probably valued at a couple of $1,000s compared to some of the other stuff I've seen on the market. And but I don't sell it for $2,000. I don't even sell it for $1,500. I don't even sell it for $1,000. But this package, I call it the best program, the BEST sales training program, the best sales training program, the very best of what I've learned over the past 31 years, compiled that I could just give someone. They could, like Sister Shirley said, they can get it digitally and they could do it at their own pace. Yeah. And I offer the best program for $497.
It's easily consumed.
Easily consumed at your own pace. Yep. I'm offering it for $497. So if you already know, it'll be worth it for me to have that in my library, that access to that knowledge, that kind of thing. Reach out to us, or you can actually just go to the empowermentduo.com. It's actually in there now. The empowerment,
and you can find out more information specifically about what's in it, what's it about, what it covers, all of those things. If you go to theempowermentduo.com, It's the number one place, the one-stop shop for everything empowerment, and you can definitely find out more about the BEST program in improving and increasing your
and BEST
sales.
is an acronym, stands for Basic Essential Sales Training. And I'm so old school. I'll even take a phone call. I had to tell that to somebody yesterday. You know, it's like they want. I mean, it was twice yesterday. Somebody was like, "Well, can you send me your phone number or do this right here digitally?" I can just tell it to you right now. You can write it down. Yeah. Okay, that was one thing. And the other one was like, "How are we going to connect tomorrow?" I'm meeting them right after this at 10:30. I said, "Look, I can even accept a phone call because he's out and about. Just call me." Yeah, that's right. We just call each other.
The miracle of telephone.
Actually call and talk. I don't have to sit in front of the computer.
Amen. Shirley said, I will have to check the BEST out.
Shirley, you should get the BEST program, especially because of the value of it. But because you were there in Denver, well, I was pretty good. This basic essential sales training program is better, and you can do it at your own pace. That's one thing. Another thing,
stop it, pause it, go back, review.
Do it again and again, and it will become a part of you. It'll become a part of you. Nary do I ever meet anybody that can sell themselves or their services or understand the sales process the way I do. But it took me a long time to get this place.
Ernest said, history, setting up new businesses and creating websites. Places, people in history. I love when we choose that www. It gives us chills. Absolutely.
And it's beautiful the way you put that, Brother Ernest, because this is not only his business, but I could read in there and listen to Lisa read it, seen it on the screen. It's his passion. It's his passion. Sister Shirley said,
you were great, and I am so proud of you and Lisa.
Shirley, thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
I'm proud of us too.
I love it, Ernest James. Ernest Usher, he says, sounds like we need to raise that sales training to $797.
Well, I will. I'm gonna bring it to $997, Ernest. And it'll probably go to $997 today or tomorrow. Okay, but that's where it's going, to $997. I don't want to be cost prohibitive, but it's worth so much more. I mean, goodness gracious, you're getting 7 trainings. Any one of them is probably worth $1,500
by itself.
Yeah,
by itself.
But you're getting 7 of my best, and I pour. So it's going to go to $997. You never get what it's worth, okay? Because it's an exchange, Ernest. You're always exchanging your huge pile of benefits in exchange for a small pile of money. And it almost has to be that way. It has to be it has to be worth a whole lot more than what you're asking for to justify getting what you're asking for. They got to get a lot more back in return, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
And I'm at peace with that, Ernest. You know, I know it's charged too low. They're getting way too much. Even people that buy my full curriculum, they're getting stuff. Like, check this out, Ernest. No matter what I charge, even though I charge $20,000, okay, if I charge $20,000 for a training program with me, okay, 6-month program, $20,000, they're going to pay me $20,000. I don't charge $20,000, by the way, but I'm just using this as an example. If they paid me $20,000, I would get that money, and I would use that money. I would use it to pay bills, put some savings, buy stuff, take a trip, buy clothes, whatever I would use that money for. I would use the money. And then once that $20,000 they paid me is gone, it's gone. Okay. Right now, what do they get? They get stuff that they're going to use today and next week and next month and next year. They get stuff that they're going to use for the rest of their lives. They're going to profit from it now and next week and next month and next year and for the rest of their lives. They gain a whole lot more, even though they paid a lot.
Ernest said, I need you to charge $20,000 because Lisa says she wants to go to Paris. That's what I heard. Amen.
Ernest, you another one, man, that's going to keep the historical records. Lisa might have said that in passing.
I don't think I ever said Paris. I don't think I've ever.
I think you did mention it too. Like, maybe we was talking about it and you said that would be nice or something like that.
Not ever. It's never been one of my places to go.
No. I want to go to Paris and London and all that.
Never want to go to London.
London, yes. London, everywhere I go, dreary. You coming too.
I'll go, but I mean, it's like not like one of my dream places.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why I know you're gonna go, because when we were like dating or before we got married, well, we probably was engaged at this point. You told me that you'll go anywhere I want to go with me. You told me you would live anywhere I wanted to live. So I'm never
not in Alaska.
I'm never gonna let that go.
Not in Alaska.
She told me that.
Said, come on to London and Italy. Come on.
I want to come. I want to go. But she told me she would live wherever I want to live and go wherever I wanted to take her.
Not in Alaska. I will go to Alaska, but I won't live there.
Okay. You'll go wherever I want to go, and you'll live wherever I want to live. And I don't want to live anywhere that you don't want, that you're gonna be miserable. I wouldn't want to do that.
Ernest says, Shirley, come on too, Shirley.
Yeah, Ernest, I would love to hear the story one day, man, about what caused you, what inspired you to actually move there in the first place, to become an expat. Or no, you maybe not consider yourself an expat. You're probably a dual patch. I don't know. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. Okay.
Make it up as you go along.
Yep. So you pulled something out while
I pulled this out because this gentleman is one of my authors, and he is making history. He is making history. This is the newspaper of St. Croix. And
the St. Croix Times.
On the front page of St. Croix Avis, and he's being celebrated for his book, which not only talks about him, his life, and the things that he has done, but he is actually he's been all over. He's been all over. He's both from London, from Australia. He's got a lot of ports in his journey.
Now, is that his book in his hand? He's holding.
It is.
He's holding his book up. And who published that book?
I did.
You published this book?
I did. I did.
This is beautiful. Ernest, this is speaking down your line too.
And this is a life of service. That is the history that he is bringing. He had military service. He is wonderful. Ernest said, my wife is military, so they send us to places abroad because of her job description. So by doing this, we're making history, being the first in our family to visit, learn, and experience culture in these places where the military pays, we go.
Amen.
I get it.
You're traveling the world on your uncle's dime. That's what's going on. You're letting your uncle finance your trips around the world. Uncle Sam, that is. But the gentleman, Lisa's held it up, his life and times, his history. She published his book. Lisa lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's in St. Croix. They've never met in person. But because of technology, they can Zoom, they can email, they can message. She was able to successfully publish his book in St. Croix. Now, that's why I say we got to go to St. Croix sooner than later, because Lisa has two
authors and 8 books,
8 projects done in St. Croix.
In St. Croix, yeah.
Ernest says,
we don't claim him. He seems to take more than give. Uncle Sam, that is.
Wow, but you're traveling on his dime.
Out loud.
I was thinking of funny words, and one of the funny words was, a family word is, who all up in there? Okay.
Who all up in there?
Yeah.
That's a phrase, not a word.
Yeah, phrase. Who all up in there? That's the kind of question you have when you pull up to Thanksgiving. You see a bunch of cars. You call up a favorite cousin before you go in, because if certain people are there,
you get ready to turn around.
Yeah, you're not going in there.
Who all up in there?
Who all up in there? Before I go up in there, if such and such is there, I ain't going, because we know it's gonna go down if they there. You know, we don't sign up for our problems. You know. Hey man, give you a couple of dollars, man. Bring me out a plate.
You ain't giving no money for no plate. They better bring that plate.
You got to pay some people to get them to do some stuff.
Well, then you didn't call
Dr.
your favorite cousin.
Beverly, what is up, my sister?
Hey, Dr. Beverly.
Dr. Beverly, we're talking about your place. Your place in history.
Your place in history.
Because you have a place in history. If you're occupying a space, if you're breathing in air, if you live somewhere, raise somebody, have a friend, have a place of employment, or do something, you have a place in you're a part of history. Yes, you are. History. You know, the part of history I don't really like. Let me cover that now.
Okay.
When I grew up in elementary school, we studied history.
Mm-hmm.
And the history from all my elementary school years. I mean, it was so bad. And in my earliest years, they taught us in school that Christopher Columbus discovered America.
We had to memorize that fact.
Well, yeah, and it was on tests.
Mm-hmm.
But he never set foot in the continental United States. He studied the islands, the West Indies. Okay, that's where he was. Okay, we studied the wrong history. They taught us the wrong history. And we thought he was a hero. And he wasn't. He was a horrible human being. The more I learned about history, he was the worst human being. Okay, he wiped out a whole culture of people, the Taino people, completely gone. And the way he did it was atrocious. But learning more about history, they taught us that story. Again, history is told by the winners. They taught us that story. And this is even another part about history I don't even like. But in my elementary school years, we had history every single year. And the only history of Black people they taught was slavery and Dr. Martin Luther King. That's it. Slavery and Dr. Martin Luther King was the only history. So it was like before slavery in the United States, we had no Black people in existence. That's what they taught young Black boy Brian McNeill in history in his school.
But now they're talking about taking history out, taking Black history out.
They're taking slavery out, the whole story of slavery. They don't even want it in his curriculum anymore, particularly down in Florida is where that's going on. Because they say, okay, it was a given. We had that. So we don't want to talk about that no more. No.
It's not a given.
You don't get to whitewash it like that. Okay. But anyway.
That's one way of calling it, I guess, whitewashing it.
Yeah, let me get off my stump now and get back to order. Good morning, Dr.
She says, good morning, my beautiful family.
9:30.
It's 9:30. It's 9:30. I can't find my card. I can't find that.
For the books? Something. Anyway, again, shout out to University of Connecticut. They won the championship. You know, when you see a college team win a championship, I was more and more impressed by this last night.
There it is.
I was more and more impressed by this last night. A lot of people have to want to see that team successful. Coaches, administrators, school officials, all of the parents from every single student athlete, every teacher has to pull together in a way to make that thing successful. And all these people benefited by the University of Connecticut coming together for a common cause and winning. There was a beautiful thing to watch. The One Shining Moment video that they played at the end of the tournament is Luther Vandross singing One Shining Moment, dun, 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 dun. And One Shining. I've been doing it for 20 years. Luther Vandross version of One Shining Moment, where they show video clips of highlights and lowlights.
Well, Dr. Beverly says, I am a part of history. I've established my footprint.
Amen.
And I have 2 generations to pick up where I leave off with more to come.
Amen. See, that's what I'm talking about. You got generations.
Ernest goes on to say slavery, and over here they only teach it, guess when? February. The Civil War happens to fail then. You know, I questioned it and I called it out. History. We teach our son the correct everything every day.
Yes, yes.
Amen.
And praise God for Lisa and me. We definitely teach our children real history, all of it. The successful people, the people that rose up. Oh my gosh, I could talk all day about what happened from slavery ending till now. I could talk all day. Ernest also has UConn Huskies. Shirley, you are right. I am.
That's right.
Black history every single day.
And Black history is. I wonder if the next generation will even have the same understanding and connotation of the importance of even the word Black history. I know that there's so much. I don't even know what to call it, but. Making everything the same. There's so much making everything the same, so that you want to just say history instead of Black history. It's not just history. There's history for so many different perspectives, and every perspective, calling out the perspective does not negate the power of another perspective.
Exactly.
It merely helps to bring impact and understanding to a particular perspective.
It was almost abusive the way they taught us in school, Black people. It was almost abuse. It was basically trying to program's not the right word. propagandize them and not us. Okay. You guys start lowly. That's all you could be. That's why you're from. You're from slaves. What do you expect? We didn't teach us that we were from kings and queens, and we were stolen. Okay.
And so that's the important thing, is that although history didn't start at slavery, Black history didn't start at slavery. We were Black before then, and we were Black long before we were slaves. But it either began at slavery, or it didn't begin until after slavery, or whatever the case is.
That's it.
And it's important to get all of it. Ernest says, Sister Lisa, I'm losing my vision.
I got my glasses. And he says, they won't, Lisa. If you would see what is passed around on TikTok, it's not going to be the same. Slavery and slave TikToks make it as a joke and comedy. I have seen these videos passed around by 13 to 16-year-olds. History will be on social media like Wikipedia.
That's unfortunate.
And that sounds, even reading that makes me sad. Makes me sad.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's so important to try to hear and feel and see it from the other perspective. I know that they're taking their power back in so many cases by looking at things from their own eyes. They're saying they don't want to be brought into this paradigm, but it's all a collective. Mm-hmm. We got to understand all those pieces and parts. I didn't see that.
You didn't notice?
No, because you didn't clip it down. This is not
my face, my head.
I can see your face and I can see your head.
I was Grizzly Adams on the show yesterday.
This is not clipped down or shaved through.
I may not do that yet.
Well, I don't want it long.
It was never long.
It was long.
It was long? You think it was long?
At a lot of times you've had it long.
At a lot of times?
Yes.
I think I like a little bit.
I don't like it.
Come on, baby. Really?
The thought of the day is there is nothing like a dream to create the future.
Yeah.
There is nothing like a dream to create the future.
What a great thought. What if you spend some time thinking about that too? There's nothing like a dream to create the future. And even if you break it down, the first part, the second part, just take the second part. To create the future. To create the future. Oh my goodness. Did my heart not just get warmed up? Dr. Deborah Dunstan stepped in the room.
Morning. She was in Hampton, Virginia.
Yeah,
Thank you.
She be traveling. Mm-hmm. She be traveling.
That's right.
She get up and down the road.
Ernest says, "Amen. Great thought for the day. I'm telling you, there's nothing like a dream to create the future."
I love that thought. Today, Dr. Deborah Dunstan, we're talking about
your place
in history.
Your place in
specifically
history.
You.
What are you impacting? What are you changing?
Because you are
doing? What are you supporting? What are you believing in? And what are you perpetuating? Those are the things that you are bringing to the world in your history, which is why these books, and when I think about the purpose, as I've been want to do, as I have been really doubling down into the purpose that I get to facilitate helping people to understand that they are the star of their history. They are the star.
Think about that.
Of their history.
You are the star of your history. And that's so true. Because you are the star of your history. There are people that are impacted by each of you and each of us. Okay, somebody's impacted by you. Your place in history. And if you take any given thing, any product, let's take food, any ingredient, and make it a cake, okay? If you add anything, it's going to impact the flavor or the way the cake works.
But if you take something out, you'll know that too.
If you take out anything.
Anything. And the challenge that I have gone through to try to make desserts without eggs in them for Brian.
Praise God, and thank you for that. Because she has gone through it, y'all. She has.
To understand that there are elements, you may think small, you may think insignificant, but you are a domino.
Ooh. Dr. Deborah Dunstan says, my family is watching with me, and I am putting the question to them.
Your place
in history. You know, I'm so grateful that you're doing it with your family, because if you guys just went around a little bit and talked about you or your family history and your place in your family's history. I bet that will spark a really, really lively conversation. And here's one more thing I think will happen. If you guys are willing to talk about your place in history as a family, you all will like each other more, and you'll be more proud of your place and your family's history. It took a lot to get you from where you were to the moment that you occupy today. It took a lot. Your ancestors were amazing survivors, super creative. They had to be creative. They had to be clever. They had to be tough. They had to be resilient. They had to get by. Oh my gosh.
But you don't even have to go back that far to find a place that you have been influential in someone's life, and their life would not be the same without you.
That word you spoke to that child, that changed that child. That person you bailed out of jail and had a conversation in the car with.
Dr. Deborah says, Joy Elizabeth said that she is solving the problem of how to find your toys when you have lost them.
And that's beautiful, Joy Elizabeth, because she knows there's a problem there. How old is Joy Elizabeth? She says
she's 6 now.
She's solving the problem of how to find your toys when you have lost them. That inspires me because she's thinking. She'll probably become entrepreneurial, which I applaud.
She's 7.
She is 7. I'm going to solve the problem. How do you find your toys when you've lost them? How many adults need that service?
Oh, how about Joko? His mother says, "What were you looking for your keys?"
Let's do that. Joe Coy, he's a stand-up comedian Lisa likes more than I do.
I love him.
But he tells this joke, and I think it's his best joke. He tells a joke about when he made the mistake looking for his keys, and he asked his mother, "Mom, did you see my keys? I have to go." And she goes, "Joseph, what a stupid question is that? Excuse me, person who does not drive my car. Do you know where my keys are?" You know? Joseph, ask me where my keys are, Joseph. Ask me. "Mom, do you know where your keys are?" "Of course I do. They're my keys. I put them right here on this thing that says keys." You know, Joseph, why would you ask anybody else where your keys are that don't drive your car?
Put them where they belong.
That's right. You said Joy Elizabeth is watching right now. I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell a quick story for Joy Elizabeth, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you guys hear this story, if y'all overhear it, that's fine, okay? This father comes home, and his 7-year-old son is in his room, and his toys are everywhere in the room. And this toy box is in the middle of the room, and all the toys are empty out of the box. Dad stands in the doorway and sees his room covered in toys and a big old toy box in the middle of the room. He says, "Son, put your toys back in the box and push your box back up against the wall." And the son does what his dad says. He takes his time, puts all the toys back in the box and fills the box up full of toys. And he says, "Now push the toy box up against the wall." And the boy starts to push, and he can't. He's struggling. He can't move it. He goes, "Dad, it's too heavy. I can't push it, Dad." He goes, "Son, use all of your strength." And the boy bears down. He's pushing. He's getting into it. And he's trying real hard, and he can't move it. "Dad, I can't do it." He says, "Son, you're not using all of your strength." He goes, "Yes, I am, Dad. What do you mean I'm not using all my strength?" He says, "Son, I'm your father, and I love you. I'm standing right here. I'm a part of your strength. If you had just asked me to help you, I would have helped you, no problem. Dad, will you help me?" "Sure, son." So Dad helps the son. They move the toy box back against the wall. The people, Joy Elizabeth, in your circle that love you and are willing to help you with anything, if you just ask them to, they are a part of your strength, my sister.
Absolutely. Dr. Deborah says, Joy says the first thing she does is look in the last place she played with them. And yes, she is watching.
How brilliant is that?
That's brilliant.
I know somebody who loses their earbud case.
He gonna throw me under the bus?
I didn't say your name. I said I know somebody who loses their earbud case with regularity.
Oh,
not only do they lose their earbud case, they lose the earbuds, and they say to me, "Brian, have you seen my earbud case?"
I even blinged out the case.
She bedazzled the case, a bunch of bedazzled on it so that it shines. It's not just flat black. It shines but she has a great difficulty keeping hold of it. So
And I try to put it in the same place.
She often
every day.
asks me, "Where's her earbud case?" And I just dutifully go find it. Da, 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 da. I don't complain at all.
Do you believe this?
Dr. Terrence, I do complain. I says, Lisa, you and your earbud case.
Dr. Deborah says, great story. Joy actually got it. I'm so proud of her.
I'm so proud of her too.
Amen.
I'm so proud of her too. Do you have a picture of Joy Elizabeth? Do you know what she looks like?
I do know what she looks like, but she is also on Dr. Deborah's page.
I'm gonna have to go to Dr. Deborah's page so I can see Joy Elizabeth. Brother Ernest says, LOL.
Now, Sister Lisa, we ain't know it was you.
Exactly.
But if she uses that AirTag invention, you can always find it with that app. Yeah,
well,
I guess you could.
That's true. The AirTag invention, she could find her earbud case with the app. That means she'd also have to know where her cell phone is. That's another thing, Brother Ernest. It's because she's brilliant. Geniuses don't have time to quibble with little things like, where did I leave my case?
While I'm curing cancer.
While she's curing cancer. Someone once asked Albert Einstein, Ernest says, well,
dang. But we got to say dang because we got Joy Elizabeth on.
Okay, let me check this out. Someone once asked Albert Einstein, while he was considered a genius of his time, what's your home phone number? And he went and got the phone book.
Why not?
We used to have the phone book. So he starts looking through the phone book for his phone number to give to the guy. The guy asked for his phone number. Sure, no problem. He goes, wait a minute. You're supposed to be a genius. How come you can't remember your own phone number? He goes, why would I bother memorizing something I can easily look up? And that's from Einstein.
Message.
Well, I memorized something you can easily. That's why today, most of us don't know anybody's phone numbers.
Yeah,
because it's all in our phones.
Dumb phones.
Yeah, smartphones.
I
don't bother memorizing anything. Yep, boom message.
Yeah,
it's about, we need time.
We need to memorize this. We gotta go. I had to memorize.
We late.
Your phone number, and I have memorized.
I got your phone number memorized, but that's the only one I know. Let's go, baby. Gotta do the greeting songs, greeting logos.
Absolutely.
We running late.
Absolutely.
Up first today is Miss Phyllis. She has a logo, and we like to thank her with her logo. Miss Phyllis is here. Clear the way. Miss Phyllis is here. Now we can all have a great day. Come on, baby.
I remember the first phone number I ever had.
Shirley DeJarnette Wyatt has a logo as well, and it goes, Shirley DeJarnette Wyatt will rock you, rock you. Shirley DeJarnette Wyatt will rock you, rock you. Ernest James Usher has, if you need web designing and some digital marketing, don't call me, call Ernest Usher. Ernest James Usher.
Hey, Judy. Oh, Judy, you're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Judy.
Ernest, that was the best we ever did your jam. Go ahead.
He said, hey, I love it. I think we got Dr.
Beverly has a logo that goes, Dr. Beverly is on the show. Good morning,
you
Dr.
You got to work on that note.
My voice has been jacked, especially
for a long time.
Cough. Come on.
I know that note. You got to get it. Dr. Deborah's here.
She got a jam as well, Dr.
Deborah, healing trauma and deliverance coach.
Mm-hmm. Joy Elizabeth got to do that too, Dr.
Deborah, healing trauma and deliverance coach.
Mm-hmm. You got to put the on that. Is that everybody?
That's everybody. Ernest says, love this song. Well, we are glad you love it. Ernest James Usher.
Yep. Ernest James Usher.
Yep. We love to spend some time with you every morning. We hope that we help to inspire you to take the day, seize the day, and make the day what you want it to be.
You have a place in history.
Absolutely. And we hope to see you tonight.
You're important. Oh, tonight. Let's talk about that real quick. Tonight is Male Empowerment Networks
and Women Empowerment Networks.
We do these meetings virtually
via Zoom,
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Male Empowerment Networks and Women Empowerment Networks. Separate locations, virtual spaces, and to the men gather. We've been doing these meetings since August of 2013.
Mhm.
That means August of this year will mark our 10th year anniversary.
Absolutely. It's
Wow.
anniversary.
10th year anniversary. Wow.
Longer than we've known each other.
Longer than we've known each other. 2 years, 2.5 years longer than we've known each other. I was doing Male Empowerment Networks in a separate city from Lisa. Okay. And when I met her, I brought it with me. Because that's a part of who I am. That's another part of my history. And that's another part of your history as well.
Women Empowerment Networks allows us to celebrate the women and their history and their historical stations in life to help them to remember that they are the greatness that God has created.
If you decide to join us tomorrow, you're in for a treat. Because tomorrow is Wisdom Wednesday, and we have another submission from Brother Mark Greer to share with you up to 5 minutes of wisdom from Brother Mark Greer.
And we're looking forward to sharing it with you. Hope to see you tonight. You can register for Women Empowerment Networks or Male Empowerment Networks at theempowermentduo.com. The link is in the tree. And we will love to see you tonight at 7 p.m.
Male Empowerment Networks, you don't even have to register.
Just click on it.
Just click on the link or just come. MaleEmpowermentNetworks.com.
Absolutely.
And join the meeting.
Absolutely.
Ernest, I would love to see you. If it fits your schedule.
What time is it where he is?
I don't know.
At 7 p.m.
I don't know.
Is it like the butt crack of the morning?
I don't know. And where you are, Ernest, right now
What
is
time is it?
9:49 Eastern Standard Time.
I think it's the afternoon or something where he is. I don't know. I don't remember.
He would
Tell
know.
us what time it is.
He would know. Okay.
Yeah, tell us what time it is where you are so we'll know. And thank you, Shirley. You have a blessed day.
He says 2 p.m., 3 p.m.
He says it's 3 p.m. right now and 1 a.m. Laughing is LMAO. 1 a.m. is what time 7 p.m. is.
Oh, wow. That's the middle of the night for him.
Yeah, no.
1 a.m. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's late. Right now, it's 3 p.m. Well, we're grateful that you chose to join us. We hope that you have a good afternoon. We appreciate all of you joining us for your morning coffee or wake up or inspiration. And we look forward to seeing you on tomorrow with a little bit of wisdom on Wednesday.
Peace.
Don't forget.